I could just imagine, like, looking at me or whatever. So, all right. So we're going to. I'm sure some folks here in the audience. There's Billy Sherwood standing behind us. He's look. What are you doing, Billy? What are you doing? You want to come sit down for a second?
Hey,
Bill,
Big Bad Bill.
Billy's coming up. Billy Sherwood's coming up here for a second. Who's he with? Is that somebody I should know?
Yes.
No, the other guy. Oh. Billy, what band are you in? I'm joking. Come on here. I mean, I know. No, it's Portnoy's the one you got to ask what band are you in 100 times over.
Up,
you never know on any given cruise. All right, so maybe we'll get a few questions from the audience that we have out here, but we got to go to a commercial break here in a second. Billy Sherwood just sat down, and Mike Portnoy is here. Steve Hackett is coming out here in about 15 minutes. I see Roy from Prague Report there. He's going to help me with Hackett. Lon Friend wanted to help me with Hackett, too, and sit in on that. Everybody loves Steve, wants to be a part of that one as well. Let's get to a break. We'll come back with a little more time, though, with Portnoy and from, yes, Billy Sherwood joining us as well on Trunk Nation.
From the high seas, here's your rock and roll cruise director, Eddie Trunk.
And we are back, and we are live from Cruise to the Edge. And the final day of the cruise is we are at sea today and cruising back to Tampa, where we will get to tomorrow morning and disembark. And Cruise to the Edge 6 will be in the books and wrapped up. And another great success with a lot of great performances, another sold-out ship. And joining me now, we've had Alan White from Yes on, we had Steve Howe from Yes on, and we just walked by, so why not grab him? I spent a little time walking around Key West with this guy. Billy Sherwood is here.
Hello.
Good to see you, Billy.
Hello.
Billy and I, we did the same thing. And Mike can relate to this for sure. As soon as we got off the ship, there was a Starbucks. I was like, oh, let's get to the Starbucks. But Billy got in there before me. By the time I got there, the line was way too long. You have actually
a
Starbucks tattoo.
You have a Starbucks tattoo.
Damn.
You're out of your mind.
Well, me and Charlie Benante got them together.
It's insane.
That's commitment.
Yeah. Oh, trying to break your whole thing. It's a forever metal thing.
And it's a grande.
Yeah.
Now, when you go into a Starbucks, do you get any sort of discount? Do you show that or not?
Not at all.
They
see me coming, they ban me. They won't even let me in.
That's the same thing. Like, I've got somebody said, oh, you got to get the app. You got to get the app. When you go to Starbucks, you get rewards, you get free drinks. I get nothing.
Yeah.
I get nothing. There's nothing. It's just a cute way for them to continue to get your money.
Yeah.
Like a crazy
kind of a little
addiction.
Gimmick.
But you get off the island, you see it, it's like something you know, and it's familiar. It's like, well, even, Key West, like, I got to have that before I get back on the ship. And
It's an
I think
oasis.
everybody else had the same idea. Did you have fun walking around Key West? You ran into Jeff Downs, right?
Did run into Dan. Oh, yes, I did, actually. They were at the Hemingway Bar, whatever that place is called. I forget what it's called.
Well, Ernest
Sloppy
Hemingway,
Joe's.
right? Ernest Hemingway lived on Key West,
right?
And I walked by his house, and it's now a tourist attraction. It's like $14 to go into his house.
So was he a swinger? Because isn't it like Key West where all the swingers go? Was Hemingway a swinger?
Why is that the deal with Key West?
That's what I hear. Yeah,
I don't know. He lived there, though.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Maybe it was. I wish we could ask him, Mike. Okay. Billy, how's things been going for you, man?
Things have been great. It's been another great cruise with all these wonderful people, fans running around the boat, and all these amazing musicians. And every corner you turn, you run into a friend. I mean, you're just bumping into this guy and that guy, and it's just been amazing. And I see they're already advertising 2020, so here it comes again.
Yeah, the end of February, I think, into early March for the Cruise to the Edge 7.
Yeah.
The end of March.
Yeah, end of March into early April.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, you actually did your own cruise at one time, right? You Progressive Nation.
Progressive Nation at Sea in 2014. Oh, thank you.
Golf clap for
Which
that.
was the same time that they were doing their second Cruise to the Edge. And long story short, it was a great thing. And a lot of the bands that have now migrated over here were on that. It was like Haken and, Tony McAlpine and Spock's Beard, Flower Kings. But anyway, long story short, Larry Miranda and I talked about it, and it's like, look, rather than having two similar genre cruises competing with each other, let's come together and bring everybody together for one giant party. So Larry since then has kind of taken me under his wing and given me a permanent spot on this for whatever I want to do each year, and is even asked for some, bands recommendations, like Nick's the unique thing.
I saw that last
Pain
night.
of Salvation a couple years ago, and so like
we should mention that. We should mention that for a second. Last night, because somebody told me to check this out. There is a band on board. What are they called? Unique.
Unique, and they all play ukulele.
They all play covers with ukulele.
Prog
I saw
covers.
that. I heard him doing Roundabout or something. Yeah, it was great.
I saw him do some Jethro Tull last night, but it is. Somebody said you'd like it because it immediately sounded like that's kind of like it's just a goofy thing, and no, they're really good. And I guess all of them work for Sweetwater,
right.
the big music company in Fort Wayne, because they mentioned that from the stage. But that was cool, and for me, seeing some of these different bands, and I saw a band just a little while ago, Baraka. They were pretty cool. Watching them, getting to see Hake and Billy. Do you get to go and walk around and see a lot?
I've seen more on this than most the cruises I've done, just because I'm trying to get out there and see it. And I saw District 97 were great. Adrian Ballou was great. I saw a bit of what you were doing, and I saw a few other bands, Airbag and
I saw them too. I love their harmonies.
Was killer, and I mean, everywhere you turn, there's music going on. It just depends on what's going on in the day. But I managed to try to hang out for a bit and see stuff. It's great.
But for you with Yes, I mean, I know that I've had a couple of the guys on, like I said already, and they said that this will be a pretty active year. You're getting ready to go to Japan, right?
Yeah, we basically fly home, take 5 days off, and then go straight over to Japan for a little tour, and then come back and sort of group up for the big summer tour push, which is going to be really interesting for Yes fans, because there's some things that have been played in a long time about to be played and require a lot of homework to be done. So there's plenty of time to get together, but it's going to be really, really cool. I think
when Yes and Dream Theater toured together, was that the version with Billy? Were you in that, Billy?
It was, actually. Remember, because we sat on the stage. Oh, maybe were you there? It was in Mexico City.
Well, we toured together. Dream Theater, Yes, was 2004, and that was Chris was still with us, and that was
because I was there with Derek Sherinian.
Well, maybe. Derek was in the band. Derek was in the band in the 90s.
That's when it was.
Yeah, then maybe that was just a show or two hanging out. But the full tour we did was 2004, which was Chris, Alan, Steve, Rick, and John.
Right, the classic lineup.
You know what's interesting is a little while ago, Alan was here, and he volunteered this. I didn't even go there with him. I was kind of surprised by this.
Yeah.
He volunteered this to me. I said, what are some of the things you'd still like to accomplish with Yes, before the band ended or whatever could happen? And he said that he'd like to reunite everybody again.
Wow.
I didn't pull that from him at all. He volunteered.
This is Alan White.
White, just a few minutes ago. And literally minutes ago. And
Wow.
he said, "I think it would be, it would be great to do."
Well, he's the great uniter in the band, and he's always kind of wanting that to happen. So,
well, I'll say this: I went and saw you guys at the show in Philly last summer.
Yeah, that was
the
great.
50th, and that was, I think you had 10 members at one time.
Yeah,
you had Trevor Horn and Patrick Moraz and
Tom Brislin was there, and Tony Kaye, of course, was there. And
so that was amazing. Literally 10 of them. I saw the Union tour several times back in '91, and that was 8, but this was 10.
Yeah.
So this was amazing. Yeah, I think that's probably the most you've had together.
I think so,
of Yes alumni.
Yeah. It starts to look like a football team. After
Well, I mean, he just said, hey, he said that's exactly what he said. He said, I don't have issues with anybody, and he said, we're all getting older, and I think it would be great to see one last time. And
sure.
I mean,
look, anything is possible in Yes, because, the thing's constantly evolving. So anything is possible. I know right now this lineup is really enjoying being together and sharing time together and on stage, and the personalities are clicking really well, just socially speaking, which is a good thing, because a happy band is a band that wants to continue.
Yeah, everybody seems to be in great spirits. Even your tour manager Joe, who's an old friend, was telling me that. He said, he goes, even Steve, everybody just seems to be really in a good place right now and excited about what's going on. And what is it, year 51 or 52 or something?
51. Well, I was asking the guys, so are we sticking with this bass drum head at this point? Because didn't we just pass the marker? And so we're leaving the bass drum head on for Japan, and then taking that off and going forward. So.
And how many years do you have in as a part of Yes?
Oh boy! Well, I started. My first meeting with them was back in '87, '88 when I made the World Trade album, and Chris heard it, and I got to meeting Chris and the other guys, and through production and mixing and whatnot, basically starting in there in the mailroom, and then working my way up the floors throughout all those years, touring with them and whatnot. But Yes has been a constant in my life. It's like Godfather 4. They keep pulling me back in. Every time I try to let it go, it keeps pulling me back in.
You got any other stuff going on outside of Yes you want to mention?
I do. I made a record a couple years ago called Citizen, which was really cool, on Frontiers. Had a bunch of great guest artists on it. I just finished Citizen 2, is coming out in the summer.
Okay.
And producing all kinds of various acts. One of the more relevant things to what we're sitting here doing is I just finished mixing the Yes 50th live album from what we did, and most of it is from Philly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
excellent.
It's really good. So that's kind of really exciting and coming out soon.
So that was recorded a year or so ago?
The last tour that we did.
Okay.
Last summer.
Whenever that was, August,
last
July.
summer,
yeah.
And is there a video for that as well, or is it just audio?
No video, just audio. Yeah.
And that'll be coming out?
I don't know. That's a record company thing, but I would imagine in not too long, because they're starting to get to the artwork and whatnot. So the ship's moving, as they say.
And like you said, if it's a 50th anniversary recording, you want to put it out before it's the 55th anniversary
Correct.
or something like that, you know?
Right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get a couple questions from the audience before we let you guys get out of here, if that's cool. Does anybody have a question for Billy or Mike before we get to Steve Hackett? If you do, come on up to the microphone. We got Well, no, we got a microphone
hear you on the
here.
radio.
We need to be able to hear you on the radio.
I do know your bags need to
And
be
if we
outside
can
your
make sure
room
this
at
mic
10.
is on in the house. I don't know if we got this. Is this mic on at the board? Let's see if this is.
Two.
Oh yeah, we are. All right, we're
Testing,
good.
testing,
Perfect.
1, 2.
What's your name, sir?
James Bone.
James Bond?
Bone.
Bone. James Bone.
Where are you from, James?
Agent double or nothing.
Where are you from, James?
L.A., Los Angeles.
James from Los Angeles. Go ahead.
So this is for Mike. You've had an amazing career. You've been in 50 bands, but your dream band is not offered you a position as Barry Wham in the Ruddles.
Oh, yes.
When is that going to happen?
I am a huge Ruddles fan.
Ruddles, yeah.
Cheese and onions, Piggy in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Barry Wham can't do it, please call me. Please call me. Do you even know what it is? That was the original
the
Spinal
Beatles
Tap.
sort of knockoff thing, right?
Yeah, and it's actually been 40 years since the Ruddles aired in '77. So 41.
Was it
I
a
guess.
goof on the Beatles?
No,
Or?
it was a parody. It was like very Spinal Tap, a mockumentary,
Right.
but they wrote their own music, and the songs were brilliant.
Yeah.
Written by Neil Innes.
Yeah, Neil
and,
Innes.
and Eric Idles, a lot of the Monty Python people. George Harrison was one of the executive producers, and it's brilliant.
I
Absolutely
must be
brilliant.
in love.
Yeah.
I must be in love.
Ouch. And
Ouch.
yeah,
it's
amazing. Yeah, I'm the biggest Ruddles fan in the world, so I actually have the Ruddles on 8-track. Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
You know, people bust your balls about all the bands, how many bands you've been in, like throwing out numbers, 72 bands, or that guy said 52 bands or whatever. Did you ever actually count?
Well, the back of his shirt, how many are on the back of there? I don't know. There's probably about 20 on the back of that shirt. And then, but I don't count like my first bands when I was starting out, like Intruder and Rising Power. But Dream Theater was my first real band, right out of high school. And that was 25 years. But everything, I don't know. It's probably in the 20s, I guess.
All right. So, and you're gonna throw that out there. It might keep it in the 20s to at least keep it in some level of reality.
Yeah, really.
Right? I always say 72. I don't know why that number comes to me, just because it's so over the
Well,
top.
by the end of this cruise, it might be up to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He just formed 3 new bands during the commercial break. Anybody else
Can
got
I
a
be
question?
in one?
Yeah.
Come on up to the microphone. Yeah, new band, Billy Sherwood and Mike Portnoy. We just saw it happen.
Exactly.
Here.
Here's your rhythm section.
Yeah.
You're ready to go.
You've got the new Neil Morse on vinyl there. Is that the new one?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, man. What's your name? Where are you from?
He's doing a Lemmy.
Hey.
Well, he didn't have a choice.
This is Scott from New Mexico.
Hey,
and
Scott.
How you guys doing? Hi, Billy.
Good.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
My question is for Mike. What would be your new dream band to be in, and what musician, if you could work with a musician, what musician would you like to work with the
Right.
most that you haven't worked with yet?
Who's that?
I wish Yes would have given me the call. I would be incredibly honored to play with Yes any day of the week. So yeah, I mean, to play with them.
You're going to push Jay Shellen off this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that, but
There's your bird in the air.
I mean, I've been blessed to like any kind of person I can imagine wanting to work with. I've kind of put the bands together. So everybody from Steve Morse to Richie Kotzen to Tony McAlpine to Billy Sheehan, all these people are favorite players of mine. I've been able to put these bands together. But I mean, then there's the dreams. The people that I'll probably never ever have the chance to work with. Those are like the Paul McCartneys or the Roger Waters or Pete Townsend, Jimmy Page. I mean, I've been lucky to meet all those guys, but to actually play with any of them would be an absolute dream. But I think it would only be a dream. But yeah, as far as bands, I mean, God, Yes is one of my favorite bands of all time, or Rush, or Metallica. Those are kind of dream, fantasy, hypothetical scenarios that in a fantasy world that could be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
I
thought
got one
heard
more in here
Rush
before
was,
we have to let
like,
these guys get out of here and get to
considering
Steve
It's a big
Hackett,
rumor
who
that keeps going around.
hopefully he'll
yeah.
be coming. I hope he remembered.
Uh,
Hey, man,
Hi,
what's
Mike.
your
How
name?
you
Where are you from?
David from Columbia, Maryland.
Hey, David.
So, Mike, if you want to get your total band number count up, we can include Yellow Matter Custard.
Right.
Hammer
They are
of
on the
God.
shirt. Yellow, all my tribute bands.
Oh, goodness.
There was what was it? Beatles, Rush,
The
Zeppelin,
Who?
and Who. Yeah, 4 tribute bands that I did with Paul Gilbert.
Okay, so my question would be, any chance of anything else?
Another tribute band?
Yeah, there's this Yes band that you mentioned you like.
Well, I've done a lot of Yes covers through the years. I mean, my first Cruise to the Edge, I put together a whole Chris Squire tribute, which was a whole Yes show. And then with Transatlantic on Progressive Nation Cruise, we did a whole Yes set with John singing.
I was there.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to play a lot of Yes music through the years. As far as another tribute band with Paul Gilbert, we talk about it. There's a few we've kicked around. We've talked about maybe Queen or maybe Van Halen or maybe Kiss. With Paul, it's more of a hard rock thing, not really much of a prog thing.
Right.
But I love playing with Paul, and those tribute bands we did were so much fun.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. I just saw Paul play in L.A. at NAMM. He did his own thing, and he had Andy Timmons up there playing with him.
Nice.
Just great players and having so much fun,
Yeah.
and it was so cool to see them do that. Did you have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Michael, Billy,
Hey.
Eddie.
Hey,
Jaime, I'm from Brentwood. I have one question. You did an adrenaline mob show in San Francisco.
Oh,
After the show,
yes.
you jumped off the stage, grabbed the guitar, and did Eruption. My friends do not believe me.
you played Eruption?
Yeah, anybody could. Well, I just did just the hammer-on part. I didn't do the whole thing. I just did the hammer-on section.
I didn't know you played guitar at all.
I could play. I could fiddle here and there.
But playing Eruption's not fiddling.
Anybody could do it.
Blew everybody away. Everybody's like,
Really?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, this guy Forever's one of my best friends. I had no idea you could play guitar.
Is that the first time?
I would, every once in a while, fiddle around and do it. I like playing bass a lot more, actually. Like a lot of bands I've played in, we've switched instruments, and I'll always migrate to the bass. I think I'm a much better bass player than a guitar player. But
Could have fooled me.
well, but talking about Eruption, like Derek Sherinian on the Sons of Apollo tour, he plays Eruption on keyboards.
He sent me a video of it.
Backwards. He
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
to the other side of the keyboard and plays it backwards, and then he also plays Spanish Fly. So he's the real Van Halen fanatic, is Derek. He even named his son Halen. So he's the biggest Van Halen fan on earth.
So Zach Wilde named one of his kids
Sabbath.
that too.
Sabbath.
Hendrix, Halen. He's
Yeah.
got like multiple names. That's crazy. Thank you. Thanks for the question. You got to go, right?
I do. I wish I could stay and hang, but I got a big show planned for you guys at 5 o'clock, so be there. It's going to be really cool and special.
All right. Well, hopefully Steve Hackett is coming. I don't know Steve, but through his publicist, this was set up, and I hope he remembered. I'm wondering if maybe he hasn't, because we don't see him, do we? Does anybody see Mr. Hackett?
Well, you got Billy.
We got Billy.
You need filler?
No,
Yeah.
we got Billy. You can stay, of course. If Steve doesn't come, we got Lon Friend here. We got Roy Avon here. We've got my Prague whisperers who are helping me navigate the Prague world a little bit, so we can pull them up here. And hopefully Steve shows up and we can have him on for a few minutes. I'm not sure if he, spaced, forgot, didn't get the message. I saw him in the lobby at the hotel, but that was Monday. And
Signing?
he's doing what? He's doing a signing?
Signing.
Where at? Oh, really? Okay, so maybe he's tied up with a signing. Maybe he'll join us for a few minutes at the end. We'll see. We got to hit a break. We'll come back. We'll figure out what we're doing for the rest of the show here. Final broadcast of Trunk Nation from Cruise to the Edge on this Friday, live from the Brilliance of the Seas. More from Cruise to the Edge right after this. Thank you, Mike. And Billy, hang if you want. Let's
I'll
spend
hang.
a little more time with Billy,
I'll
and
hang.
we'll let Mike get out of here. We'll talk to you guys. We'll be right back after the break.